To my ladies, whoa, you should know how to work that. Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's your primitive is flat yet.
The fun has arrived. Hey everyone, my name is Ariel, and today I'm so excited to be sharing this Is It Worth It? Let Me Work It video with you because I was finally able to try a Physicians Formula foundation. I've never been able to try one of their foundations because they've never had my shade. They only have like 4, which is just, we're about to talk about that in just a bit. I also decided to try their Spotlight Illuminating Primer. So for this video, I'm going to be showing you how both of these products work. I did do some wear test clips, so you're gonna see that in just a bit. So I usually go for just color correcting primers, but this one changed the game for me. Like, this one was the money. Physicians Formula recently came out with this foundation. It's the Healthy Foundation. It has 20 SPF brightening complex for all skin type foundation. It retails for $12.99, but on the Physicians Formula website it's $14.99 or something like that. When I purchased mine, it was just recently, it had a $3 manufacturer coupon on it. I didn't use it the first time because I completely forgot. I was just trying to get out of the drugstore, but I did have to end up going back to pick up a different shade, so I used it then. But just in case you go out to get it, don't forget to use it. The foundation is in this glass packaging, which is really, really beautiful. And I feel like it looks so elegant, like just a nice foundation bottle to have on your vanity. I just prefer plastic because I drop everything, but it is really nice. Foundation is 1 standard fluid ounce. In one of my recent Is It Worth It? Let Me Work It videos, I was played by a foundation, so I am paying attention to the amount of product in a foundation. It has a doe foot applicator. So there are a total of 16 shades in this foundation line. There's a total of 4 categories: light, medium, dark, and deep. So there are 4 shades, 4 foundation shades per category. So they do have this picture online, and it shows you which shades are neutral, cool, warm. As you can see, there's 2 neutral shades per foundation, 1 warm shade and 1 cool shade. It's not a lot, but it's better than their 4 foundation shade ranges, which I just can't wrap my head around. Like, I can't wrap my head around a group of people sitting at a table or wherever or however they do it and deciding shades and thinking that 4 is enough, which is why I never really gravitated towards Physicians Formula products. I don't think I've even talked about a Physicians Formula product on this channel, so let me just go on a little rant real quick. So normally, if a foundation collection doesn't have my shade, I won't bother purchasing it. I'm not gonna buy 2 foundations to get my perfect shade because someone wasn't thinking outside of a very small box. It's just a little bit frustrating because I don't have an uncommon Latina undertone, but I'm also aware that some people don't even have options to mix. My point is that the beauty industry is so freaking massive all over the world, but for one reason or another, there's still some brands that overlook the fact that there's more than one group of people wearing their makeup. So that's all I have to say about that for right now, and this is directed to all beauty brands. So anyways, back to this Is It Worth It? Let Me Work It video. I have been pairing up the foundation and the illuminating primer in different ways these past few weeks. I really wanted to see how they worked individually and together because they are 2 very different products. So now let me show you how these products pair up and how I apply them. So we're going to first go in with this Spotlight Primer, and I'm just reading a couple of notes here from the website. It says, a universally flattering illuminating primer that blurs, corrects, and protects to deliver a radiant spotlight glow. So depending on what I want to do, I'll either apply it with a foundation brush or a sponge, and I'll just, apply it with the same one that I'm going to apply my actual foundation with. But today I'm actually just going to use this little paddle here. I'm going to pump it out. It does have a pump. primer is also infused with antioxidants. It protects the skin and it visibly reduces redness, are some of its claims. And it does reduce redness. Look at this side compared to this side. It also has age-defying actives to protect the skin against environmental aggressors, optical blurring agents, and 5 unique filtering pearls improve the appearance of skin tone, making the complexion radiant and bright. So I love everything about this primer. It has this like champagne-ish kind of glow, but look at the difference between the one with the side with the primer and the side without the primer. There's just so much life. So now that my skin is nice and dewy, I'm going to go on to the Healthy Foundation. So initially when I first bought this foundation, I bought the shade LN4, and this is the darkest light shade that they have. And then I realized I had to go back because this was not my shade, clearly, and I went to purchase MW2, which is the lightest warm medium shade. So this is what it looks like. Again, normally I'd look the other way if I didn't find a match with the foundation, but because it was Physicians Formula and it was drugstore, I just had to go for it. I needed to try these out. I'm the shade in between these two, and that's always my case. I'm always the shade in between the darkest light and the first medium. So in my last video, which was a get ready with me, if you haven't seen it, I'll leave it in the description box below. But I did mix these two shades for the first time, and then I realized I think I applied a little bit too much of MW2. So I'm just going to apply a little bit less this time. I applied the darker shade on the outside of my face, and I end up blending it all in together anyways. So I just apply some over here. And then I take LN4, which is the light neutral shade, and I apply it on the inner portions of my face. I've been using a sponge to apply this foundation, but just for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you half of my face blended out with a brush. And now I'm going to go ahead and just blend this out. I need to apply a little bit more, but it does have medium coverage and it is buildable. It does not feel heavy at all. I actually prefer it with a sponge because it just gives an extra boost of hydration. So I just applied some of the foundation on the back of my hand. I'm going to swirl it a little bit onto the sponge, and then I'm going to apply some foundation right on top of where I had blemishes before. Add a little bit more coverage. My skin was doing so good, and then out of nowhere I got hit with like 2 pimples, but this has been like the best that my skin has ever looked to date. And I also wanted to mention that I have combination skin, so I have to make sure that the products I use are hydrating enough to soothe down and calm down my dry patches, but that they also can't make me greasy. So a lot of the products out there on the market, they don't really target combination skin. It's usually oily or dry. You have one or the other. So I feel like us combination skin girls, like, it really has to depend on how a product works on you. It's a balance, so I feel like this foundation does a good job. As far as people who have straight up oily skin or just straight up dry skin, I think that you should still give it a try, because I still get a little bit oily in my T-zone. You know, that's always gonna happen. I blot with a tissue paper, but I love the fact that my dry patches are taken care of. We're gonna get real up close and personal here. I wanted to show you what this foundation looked like right up close. Like I said, it just looks very youthful and dewy, especially with this primer, and I just love it. I'm going to show you a couple of wear test clips from different days, with using the primer only on one day, with using the foundation alone on one day, with using them both together. So I hope you enjoy these clips. Let's get into them. So my redness is really out there today, and I didn't pick the right foundation. This foundation is not the Physicians Formula. I'm wearing the primer today. I just wanted to test it out separately, and I freaking love it. My lines aren't showing, like they didn't crease all that bad today. So this primer is making my face look so glowy. I just wanted to show you guys what the primer looked like. I've had it on since 7 a.m. It's currently 11:30, I believe. Hey guys, so it's currently almost 6 o'clock. I am salvaging the last bit of daylight that I can on this foundation. I have worn it today without the primer, and I still love it. It's not as good, like it doesn't look as good as it did with the primer, I have to say, and I think that it actually helped it last a little bit longer and like a lot more glowier. But besides that, my highlight is like throwing everything off, but I love it. So here you have it. It is not full coverage. I would like to say it's medium to full, because it does cover a lot of my redness. So I just wanted to mention that really quickly. So far I like this foundation. I just think that I like it better with the primer. It's been on for almost 12 hours, so I just wanted to show you before it comes off. So far your girl is loving this. All right, so final thoughts. I really do think that this pair, especially the primer, I fell in love with the primer. I really do think that they're going to be my summer go-tos, because it just makes your skin look so fresh, so dewy, so just yummy. So yeah, the primer definitely puts in work, but what I love the most about these two products is that they worked so well individually, and it just gives you that radiant look. I mean, who doesn't want a radiant, fresh look? As far as flash photography goes, I do not recommend this foundation to be worn. Let's say if you're going on a night out and people are going to be taking pictures, I don't recommend this foundation for that, just because it has SPF 20, and if you haven't worn it long enough, the SPF is going to give a white flashback when the picture is taken, and you're just going to look like a ghost. So I wouldn't necessarily take that risk, but what I do recommend this foundation for is if you're going on a day out, if you're going to a barbecue, poolside, playground, you're taking your kid out, at whatever it is, it just is a great foundation in person. So I definitely see myself wearing this foundation on a day out with a group of friends, going to the beach or something. Not that I did that last summer, you know, but I do plan on socializing more this summer. That is the goal. I'm gonna turn my light off. I just applied this foundation, and as you can see, there is a flashback, but it's just the SPF. It doesn't mean that this foundation is bad. That's just what SPF does. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have trouble finding your shade and what frustrates you the most. I really want to know your thoughts and what you thought about Physicians Formula coming out with this 16 shade range. I've always wanted to try one of their foundations because they do have really cute packaging, but I've just never been able to. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know if you're enjoying these Is It Worth It? Let Me Work It video series. I'm so excited about it, and yeah, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Make sure you click that bell button, that way you get notified whenever I post a video, which is every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye. Guys, I am so blind that like I go all the way up here because it's where I can see myself decently in the viewfinder. Bye. What? Bye guys. What? So I'm just gonna it was whoa.